What's up, guys? We're live here with a Patreon exclusive Vegeks winner deck profile. Andrew Dovale does it again. Vegeks again. Why did you choose this deck in the first place?
I didn't own Red Broly, and it's the next best thing that I could think of in the format. I just, as much as I like Go Tanks, I just don't think it's the correct format for it. A lot of aggro, specifically Red Broly, that I can't deal with. So I kind of just went with this because it's, familiar with it. I'm comfortable with it. I know how to play the leader pretty well. But I wanted to take a different take on it because I didn't want to play the same thing that everybody else is playing or the same kind of concept. So I took my own spin on it, and it worked out really well. I really enjoyed playing it, and it synergizes super well. A lot better than I thought, actually.
All right, let's check it out.
All right, so obviously the leader. We don't really need to beat that one to death. But let's just get through the chain.
Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory on all
we play
those,
four of all of these. Because
what's up with the super combo?
So the super combo is kind of interesting. I just choose to play. I've seen a lot of aggressive builds just default to 4 of this. I think if you're not playing the Double Strike Kai, there's no reason to not play 4 of this. If you are playing, not Double Strike Kai, you're playing the Double Strike Man on a Mission. So the overwhelm Double Strike crit is what I meant to say. Then you can consider more of a 2-2 split and just work with Bibbidi, because it will help you in the early game before you have taken to 4 life, connect that double strike crit attack. Because that's where the aggro deck predicates its strength on, is landing that double strike crit. If they don't have that double strike crit land, I just think it's not their whole game plan. It doesn't fall apart, but it doesn't work as well, right? So that's where you could play Bibbidi. But I wasn't playing the Men on a Mission today. I just said that's what everybody's doing. They're playing a very aggressive version of Vegeks. Vegeks is always aggressive. You can always turn on the switch at any notice. But I also like the ability to play a little bit of a longer game. And this is the best super combo in the long game. At 4 life, you just get to filter your hand. And it really helps with this deck because you are playing extra cards. You are playing a lot of 10Ks that can sometimes clog up your hand. Almost everything is a 5K. Or free combo, but sometimes when you have a few of them in the hand, you can filter through them pretty nicely, and it just gives you a ton of options. It's just, by far, I love these types of super combos. Ever since Paragus, I just, there were like the multicolor era, you couldn't play them, so now you get to play this guy, and it just feels great. Just digging through your deck when you're pushing for game, finding what you need, or just defending a lot better. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. I wouldn't play Bibbidi unless, like I said, I was playing Man on a Mission, and then maybe even just a 2-2 split or like a 3-1 split. I'm not sure. Just to be able to help connect that attack. But yeah, definitely the super combo from now on for Vegeks is probably the go-to. You can't go wrong. If you play 4 of this one, you can't go wrong. That's what I'm saying. So this one's really good. Just the basic chain. Yeah, just 4-3-3. Some people play 4 of this. I think, like I said, in the aggro builds, you have to rely a lot more on this chain. You don't have much of a mid-range. So you really you have to open this guy. I don't have to open this guy. It just gives me my strongest starts. That's the nice thing about playing a different heavy overwhelm 60 card build. It just allows you to give you time. Sometimes it can be a drawback. I played a game on stream against Sin Shenron where I wasn't able to awaken, and having extra copies of certain things would have helped out in that scenario. But I want access to this, but I don't necessarily want it to be my only game plan. Alright, it's just one of the strongest things the deck does on turn 1, and that's obviously you have to play it. But I don't need 4 of this guy. I never miss. I never have to do multiple. The aggro deck usually wants to do multiple of these. That's why you got to play 4. So that's another thing they have to keep in mind. But yeah, this is pretty standard. So far, pretty much everything's standard. And then we kind of get to more unique stuff. I think that this card right here adds a lot of consistency and flexibility to the deck. So what I mean by that, let's say you don't open Trunks. You can now overrun this, buy back the Trunks, do the Trunks the next turn.
If you mill the Trunks, yeah.
If you mill the Trunks, right? So now you have the chance of milling it or drawing it. So it increases the consistency that way. You're going to hit either this or this one. It's 8. Something's going to happen. Something's going to line through. Let's say you miss on that. All right, great. Well, at least you have your turn 3 is going to be set up. You're going to have either the Vegeks that buys back a super combo, usually, or whatever you might need, or the barrier, the Deadly Defender Vegeks. And this one sets it up perfectly. Because what he does is add something back. So he can add back either of these, and it warps everything. So you set it up, you pitch, you combo off your Gotenks and your Trunks and Vegeta. Make sure you have them in the drop for the fusions, and then you set it up. So on turn 3, since this is free, it's pretty much a guaranteed one of these guys is coming down. One card off of one card, which is really, really nice. I wasn't playing the 7-drop. If you want to go more aggressive and say, I don't care about defense, just cut this guy and play 3 and 3, he also buys back the 7-drop. So if you have either of them in the hand, you can buy whichever one you don't have back, do the whole play, which is really good as well. It was something that I was considering for the longest, but I like the flexibility of having a defensive card. I'm a type of player that, sometimes if my opponent is just playing super defensive, I just want to grind them out, and this card just helps do something like that. It helped me win against Sin Shenron in time because he couldn't get through it, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of the unique part of the chain. Also, this guy's direct damage.
30K is pretty fat.
He's a free 30K. That's people underestimate that. Like, this guy was eating blocks, negates, Frieza counterplays, every type of counterplay, block, negate. Like, people did not want this guy swinging in because they're like, I don't want to combo 30K. That's like the golden number in this game. Once you go above 30K or above, it's just direct damage. Like, it's either direct damage or lose your hand. So you don't want to be in that position. This guy, he did a lot. He was a lot better than I thought. I think he's definitely underestimated right now. I would pick these up before they go up in value. Even if like another Overwhelm deck in the future becomes good, and like you're still using like some of the Vegeks pieces or something, this guy's gonna be, I think, such a critical and like consistent piece for that to work. So I really enjoyed playing this guy, and he was really, really good. And then just the rest of it is just tech choices. I decided to play 4 Majin Buu.
Yeah, because we were playing like 3 or 2 or something before.
We were playing
in the past,
3.
Yeah.
But I found that with this deck specifically, since I didn't need to be as aggressive as first, I just wanted to give myself as many turn 1 plays as possible. So now I have 4 copies of this to mill. I did this a lot turn 1 when I didn't have anything. If I don't hit this, or if I don't have my Trunks, I have this. If I don't have that, I have my 1-drop Black Mass Saiyan. Like, you start to see that it's very hard to not use that energy on turn 1, and that's critical for a deck that can be aggressive, a deck that wants to use its energy every turn, very energy. It's not energy dependent, but you want to utilize as much of it as possible, because since you get to play everything else for free, using that energy every turn, you get to get a lot of value.
Ahead, yeah.
This is another card you can play on turn 1 and just keep milling through your deck and going faster. So this is like, you have like 16 turn 1 plays. So every single game, regardless of whether I went first or second or whatever, I always did something on turn 1. And that was huge. And that was something that in previous builds I wasn't doing when I wasn't playing 4 Extinction Attack and 4 of this. That just ups the consistency even higher with a 60 card build. This card is just so good. Filtering through your deck is just insane. Every time you can't kill them, you just do this. You're like, oh, I can't win this turn? Okay.
Stopped? Yeah.
All right, I'll just pitch a useless one of these guys in my hand and draw 2 cards. And you draw like super combos and like power burst, and you're just like, awesome. Now I can't die, or like now I'm a lot safer. Or you set up for next turn. Extinction Attack is just so good. Like, against green decks, warping their Zarbons, Ribrians, blue decks warping their monkeys. Just like, it just oozes value. Against Sin Shenron, I kept warping his guys, so I couldn't get him back. And then another thing that you really need in Vegeks is when you want to turn on that switch and you want to hit hard. Against certain decks that have a lot more beefy defense, you need to hit hard, especially like through Dormant. When someone dormants you, you gotta hit them hard. That's what you need to do. So this helps do that. It's a 15k combo for 1. That nets you generally more power on board, just because it just synergizes so well with the leader and what he does. I think you have to play this at 4. And you play everything for free in this deck. I play a free Overwhelm. The Trunks is 1 energy. Like, everything's 1 energy or free, literally. So like, this guy, you always have energy to do this. There's certain and the nice thing is that because you're playing the new super combo, if these get flooded in your hand, you can always put them to the bottom of your deck and get back some fresh 5Ks. So it wasn't a huge downside. That's why I wasn't worried about playing 4. I just wanted to see it. I saw it every game when I needed it, and it was awesome. I love this card. I think it's really good moving forward. And the 60 card Vegeks build, really, really good. Just helps you get through the decks that much quicker. 4 Black Power Dark. It's just such a good hate card, a Self Awakener for the deck. You can buy it back with Power Burst. I mean, You can't ask more of a card in this format. I think it's just a mandatory 4 of. It helps you with your aggro turns. It helps you just punish your opponent for doing what they do. Forces them to answer this. It's just a pain for people to play around. And even for yourself, it's good in the mirror. It's good against Go tanks. It's sort of good against Go tanks. It stops their Zarbon. It's good against Sin Shenron. It's good against Red Broly. It's good against Blue because they can't Obuni until they get rid of this. So like pretty much every deck, every color has a card that this gets hit by. Either they just can't play what they wanted to play against you, or they have to get rid of this guy first. So that's a good position to be in with a card. It's either and then it just doubles up on top of that as a Self Awakener. So you can't go wrong with this one, and a Power Burst target. And then obviously Power Burst. I think this card was like the most overperforming card in the tournament for me. Just being able to I keep this in my mulligan.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. Because your opponent will try to get rid of your battle cards and they'll try to do cheeky plays. Because they know they have to get rid of your 20k barrier guy, or they have to just get rid of they want to not take that damage, and then they swing into you, and then you're just gotcha. Now I'm self-awakening. It's basically a draw 2, free draw 2. If you take a life, and you're just going. It's just so unfair that this is free for them, because you just do everything on your turn, buy back usually a Supreme Kai of Time, a 10k combo with this, and take a life. It's just huge, and it helps you. It's like an aggro negate, and then when you need a negate, it's also a negate. So yeah, this card was so huge. In the mirror, it was pretty much this defined the mirror. That's how good it was. This and Majin Buu Extinction Attack were huge, and Dark Power Black Massane. Those were huge. But yeah, I really enjoyed this card. It was really, really nice. My opponents never expected, oh, he's not going to awaken next turn. I'm just going to do this, and that. And I put a wrench in their plans. And then I played the 4 double strikes. Again, 60 card build. Just want to keep it consistent. Want to see double strikes. I saw them every game that I needed them, basically, except one. I would never play more than 4 though, because they're all 10Ks. Nice thing is that the new super combo. The reason why I was lighter on these 10K cards before, I used to only play 3 or 2 or whatever, is because when they got flooded in your hand when you were going for game, it sucked. But now you can pretty much play loosey goosey with all these 10Ks, because you can just shuffle them back when you don't need them, and just having the combo power, the double strikes is huge. Which one is better? I just played this to throw people off. I just played 2/2 to throw people off. And then I have 2 Kraken Space Time in the sideboard, so I have 2 of each double strike, and they never know which one I might have or might not have. Because if they don't know my deck list, they're going to see Champa and think that I'm only playing Champas or etc. But probably the hidden power East Kai is probably better. I don't see many situations where this guy's going to be better. So if you want to play the strictly better version, just play 4 of this. And yeah, that's the main deck. Get into the sideboard really quick here. Sideboard, we got 3 Koitsukai. So a lot of people have been maining this, or I just don't see it at all in builds. And it does make sense if you don't put it in the main, because there's very few matchups that are critical in the meta where this is going to matter. A lot of times you can just be okay, you topo me or whatever, because there's just not much red decks that are playing topo main deck right now. There's not as much as there were.
Draft box 6. 3 for 10?
I just expected this tournament to be mostly Red Broly, and which is I consider still the best deck right now, and the Mirror and Sin Shenron. And it does nothing against any of those really, for the most part. So I just put it in the sideboard.
Shin Shenron, maybe if they get rid of your 9-drop or something. Or you get rid of their 9-drop.
Yeah, but you already have Dark
You hit
Power,
him with
Black
this.
Massane.
Yeah, you hit him with both. That's what Eddie was talking about.
But there's just too much energy. I don't want to do that. They don't even play it back. They'll just be I'll draw my free 2 and continue just durdling around and surviving. It doesn't matter enough in that matchup, is what I'm saying. This really is meant to stop the cards that stop you from doing your thing. And those just don't stop. So they were for Blue Baby, Invoker, etc. Those decks that are still playing Topo, still playing those end your turn negates, basically. Same thing with the Rebellion Hammer. That's why you want it. It's good against Invoker, good against those Blue Baby decks. This one hits the cards that this one can't. So they work pretty well together, and that's their purpose. I basically never sided these in except against Legends, because that was the only matchup that it mattered. A Kraken Space Time. I didn't really need these either. This is for the Gotenks matchup, where again, that's one matchup where they dormant you consistently, green matchups. So you want to hit hard through the dormant and make sure that they're taking that damage, because if you're not able to kill them that turn, then you need to be able to kill them the following turn, or else you're just in a loop. You know, you don't want to do that. This against the blue decks as well, because for this deck, one of the hardest matchups is Invoker or blue decks. So you just want to have more hate against them, basically. And this new little silver bullet, you can buy it back with Power Burst, and it's really annoying for them to deal with. Invoker does, as I found out, have a lot of ways of removing this though. Blue Baby, much harder, but Invoker has red cards, and red cards can be very good against that. 2 max power Kamehameha, Sin Shenron matchup, it's really good. Invoker matchup, it's really good. Just a tech card that you just want 2 of them. I don't think I would go any higher. And you know the matchups where they're going to be good. 2 Secret Identity, really good in the mirror, really good against Swarm decks. There aren't that many anymore. It's decent against Red Broly. There is consideration to put this in the main. I did side it in quite a bit actually, and it was a really good card. So if you want to make some cuts or don't have any cards in the main deck, you can probably easily swap it out for those 2. Usually I sideboarded out one of each chain. In the matchups that I brought that in. And then finally Tenja Fu. He didn't win me any games today, but
it's not an Andrew Duvall special without Fu.
I gotta play this guy. You know, he's my favorite guy in the game. I did bring it in against Invoker, but the games were just so fast paced. It just yeah, I just didn't have time to get here. Because I didn't have Demonic Absorption. But this would have won me the game against Sin Shenron, so it's a nice silver bullet against, or not silver bullet, but like a nice 1-up against Sin Shenron. If you draw it, even if they tap 6 to bring back everything, you just play this and kill them. So that's pretty good. I don't think I would change too much. I just don't think there's a card that's better than this. Maybe like Smoke Dragon, you want to play a Secret Rare, sure, go for it. Maybe the Negative Energy Dragon Balls. I've seen people play that. It's kind of like a board wipe that people don't see coming. But yeah, overall this build was super fun. I can't complain. And yeah.
All right, thank you so much for the deck profile. Till next time.